To quote Jim Ross, business has indeed picked up. I'm John Rankin with my review, New Japan Pro Wrestling's Best of Super Juniors 29 Night 7 event, A and B block of action, all the time, throughout the rest of the tournament until we get to the finals, where obviously it will just be the finals and undercard to lead us to New Japan Dominion on June 12th. It'll certainly be an interesting show. I fear what they're going to do with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, but before that, we got to talk about the Super Juniors taking flight, cheating, and doing a whole bunch of stuff with a hot Korakuen Hall crowd. Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton back on commentary together. It's really nice, even though Kevin Kelly is great at calling action on his own, to have these two a great commentary dynamic, and Chris Charlton being able to translate the various insults and the post-match promos and anything, really, because I don't speak any Japanese at all. I'll also have point totals at the end of this review. Let's jump into it. That loud Korakuen Hall crowd, I know it's a small venue. I think it seats, 2,000 people maybe at the most. I'm not totally sure on the capacity. But even though there were some oohs and ahs, and they are going to likely have the restrictions lifted, and they'll be able to be loud for the finals, hopefully, but at least hopefully by New Japan Dominion, they were just clapping, they were oohing on, and at one point, El Desperado literally ended up in the lap of several ladies. Maybe by their fantasies, but maybe also just, the fact that he nearly crashed into them. Whatever the case, at least nobody was injured. Besides the wrestlers, because there were some risks being taken. So, Francesco, Akira taking on Alex Zane. Fast-paced, they love Alex here, but they also love Akira. Not just the anime. And there was a good pace here. I wish they would stop with the fucking Poison Rana. Not just these guys, but in general. I know that these are professionals. Don't try this at home, kids. But I hate that fucking move. Asai moonsault outside by Akira, and some good back and forth, and eventually Taco Driver 1, 2, 3. That kicks off with A block of action. Now we move to the B block side of the, block. So TJP taking on Teton. This was one of the better TJP matches I've seen. I'm not really a fan of TJP. Teton, I'm not really familiar with CMLL that much, even though I have seen him in a couple Best Super Junior tournaments. I think he was in the 2019 one. The guy can work. How did he get that scar on his chest? Does anybody know? Was it in a match? Did something happen to him? I mean, it looked pretty goddamn nasty. TJP targeted the knee. Teton did do some nice dives outside. The crowd was very, very electric. Dun, 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 dun. The stomp on the floor. Ouch. Fucking ouch. And then the second stomp, I believe, to the back. 1, 2, 3. Teton gained the victory. Good. TJP is hopefully out of the running, since he should not have any real accolades outside of maybe winning in smaller promotions, because let's be honest, TJP, while a good worker, he's kind of exposed his whole goddamn ass and then some. And I kind of enjoy seeing him take a loss. By kinda, I mean absolutely. Crocodile Clark Connors taking on Taguchi. And we got a lot of ass play here. I could have done without the comedy, but then again, it is what it is, since you had, a good opener. You had, something that was pretty good despite the fact TJP was in it. I guess they needed some comedy, but of course, Chris Charlton did get off a few good lines there in this. A little bit of butt stuff does the body good. At least that's what my nan used to say, or does say. I don't actually know if his nan is still alive. I have no idea. Hopefully I did not, write anybody off well before they were done. And then Clark uses the power of the booty. And then this is the most Christian match of all time, Chris Charlton says. Turn the other cheek is what they're doing here. Trophy kill 1, 2, 3. It wasn't my favorite match, but I will say Chris Charlton got some good lines in here. Wheeler Yuta taking on Bushi. It was an interesting matchup here. A lot of knee focus by Bushi. A lot of fucking knee focus. In fact, knee focus tended to dominate most of the rest of the matches here. Yuta was firing back with a nice cattle mutilation, and eventually did get the seatbelt clutch to get the victory. 1, 2, 3. Moving on from that, Ace Austin took on Yo. Yo just doesn't have a lot of pop to him. He's good. He had a good run for last year's Best of Super Juniors, which is a really quick turnaround now that they're not having World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors Human Centipede together like they did in 2020 and 2021, which makes sense considering, they had the pandemic, pandemic still going on, but you get my point. They had to basically just put stuff together. Yo's good in the ring, but just something is missing. I mean, something's missing with Sho. I have a feeling they're going to eventually have to reunite them, possibly both as heels, but nevertheless, we get a Northern Lights for 2. That was out of the direct drive counter. House of Cards and the Fold 1, 2, 3. Yo did have some nice knee focus, but eventually fell to the Fold. And there you go. Welcome to the Fold, as Filter 1 said. Now we move back to the B block. ELP versus Doki. Who can out heel who? And it was fast-paced. I mean, good God, they were going 100 miles an hour right away. Tornado DDT on the floor. The reverse suplex over the top. ELP takes him and just says, yoink, you're going over the top. That was brutal. And then some other good back and forth. But eventually Doki trips trying to go for Daybreak. And he's all this. ELP's laughing at him. And then the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling, the surprise roll-up 1, 2, 3. Doki outsmarts ELP. Which is kind of easy to do, in all honesty. That was mean. Let's move on. Big shock win, though, and Kevin Kelly loved the fact that Doki outsmarted ELP. Robbie Eagles took on Master Wato in a match full of good strikes, kicks, and more strikes, and more kicks, and some knee focus. The Ron Miller special into the ropes, and a high German for 2. At one point, Robbie just kind of rips Wato out, off the ropes, and his head hits the back. It hit the back of the pad, but came really close to hitting the back of the turnbuckle. And then we get a roll-up with the bridge. 1, 2, 3. Master Wato gets the victory and still doesn't have a personality. I really should stop picking on Master Wato, but I'm just not feeling it with him. It's good in the ring. But that being said, I mean, they had a lot of shock wins, actually. In fact, this was pretty much like the Shock and Korakuen is what it really should have been titled. And also, bear in mind, for anybody that wasn't aware, if you're subscribed to New Japan World, if you were a new subscriber and tuned in, or if you just tuned in just on this, it was free. This was a free event, and people went all out, and hopefully they got some new subscribers. Hopefully New Japan officials can make things right with Kota Ibushi based on all that stuff that's going on. Depending on the translations and all this stuff, good fucking God, that stuff with Ibushi and his mother, excuse me, this is, boy, there's something weird going on here. I hope everybody involved is all right. I hope Ibushi's going to be all right. I hope his mother's going to be all right. That's what I hope for. So Kanemaru took on Hiromu, and Oiwa found Hiromu's book. Hooray, he found the book. Unfortunately, Hiromu didn't find a win because his knee kept getting targeted, and eventually he tapped out to the figure 4. There wasn't a lot to this match. It was very short. That's fine, though. This show was 3 hours with the backstage comments included, and that's good. Because the show didn't overstay its welcome, 10 matches, and it served its purpose, and it kept going. God, maybe, certain American companies could get a little bit of a good idea from this, basically. Inspiration is the word I was looking for. Sorry, it's still early here. And maybe not have shows go on forever with recaps and entrances that take 15 fucking years. I'm not saying New Japan's perfect as far as an in-ring product, but when they get things right, they do tend to really get things right. Sho took on Ishimori. Oh boy, more Bullet Club BS with the House of Torture. Do want to say quickly though, Will Ospreay apparently has a kidney infection. Those suck. I've never had a kidney infection, but I know people that have. There was one particular friend of mine who will remain nameless that actually was having so many issues that for a while I was not able to see them. This was before the pandemic. And now I take any opportunity I can to hang out with them and go to movies and that kind of stuff and do some good stuff and just make sure I spend time with a close friend. So regardless of how I personally feel about Will Ospreay, I hope he recovers. Now, hopefully he will be back in time for the G1. If not, then it's pretty bad. But anyway, they kept out healing the other, or trying to out heal the other. Exposed turnbuckles, Elia cheat steel thing. Oh, he hit me with this weapon. No, he didn't. Sho tried to use the wrench. And that got kicked away and then taken away, and then never openweight 6-man championship belt to the head. 1, 2, 3. That's about it for that match. El Lindemann took on El Desperado in a terrific main event. It's L versus L, and with El King as a referee, that would have been, honest to God, really interesting. Not even spelled the same, but I got to see El King in a concert. But for Joan Jett, the Black Hearts, and Hart, and also Hart. A lot of hearts going on there. Speaking of Hart, strong Hart. Let's get back into the review. El Lindemann dived quickly, and there was some arm focus by El Lindemann. He was very, very, very motivated here. I kept thinking that, maybe he had a weird goatee, and then I realized he had a bandage on his goddamn chin because I was hanging off at one point. Then Despy crashes into the fans. He checks on them, making sure they're all right. That was a nice gesture there. And then heavy strikes and a good armbar off the top. And then numero dos attempts, but to the ropes. And deadlift German just for 2. We get the strikes and pinche loco attempts. And no, what the hell's going on? A snapdragon, then dragon suplex. 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, El Lindemann beats El Desperado. That was a big goddamn deal. Then he does a pitch for New Japan World fans, for fans to tune into whatever the promotion is that he wrestles for. It is something in China. It's with Shima and a few other people. It's the one in China. I can't remember it right now. Moving on. He does that, and it's a great pitch. So let's get to a block of point totals. Taguchi with 2. Hiromu with 4. Same with Yo. Kanemaru with 2. And then Ishimori with 8. Sho with 2. Clark Connors with 2. Alex Zane and Ace Austin with 6. They face off against each other soon. If not tomorrow, I think on Thursday. And Francesco Akira getting 2. B block point totals. Master Wato with 2. Robbie Eagles and Bushi and Doki with 4 each. El Desperado and ELP. A lot of ELs there. A lot of ELs in this tournament. Good fucking God. It's like it's like we're getting a goddamn radio station going on here. They have 6. Teton and TJP have 2. And then Wheeler Yuta has 4. El Lindemann has 6. There we go. So the Wednesday review will likely be up in the afternoon. Same with the Thursday review. After that, I'm not sure about Saturday's show. I might end up taking Saturday and Sunday's shows and putting them together up Sunday afternoon, just depending on if I'm able to, because it's going to be a busy weekend with work and also AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday evening. But let me know your thoughts about this show in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.